Anthony Castle with the World on Cards. So I'm actually right outside this Biloxi, Mississippi, outside the Beau Rivage casino where the heater is being held. And I got here a few days back. I'm here for the week, taking a shot. I think this tournament's like a great opener for people for the year. If they're playing regularly or if you want to take a shot and a smaller buy-in, or I should say, small to mid-stakes buy-ins. Maybe you're coming for a weekend and trying to make it more of a vacation with eating out nice and so forth, or maybe you're trying to do it on the cheap. A budget for tournaments like this. I mean, if you're grinding and you're just taking more single bullets, not get crazy, and see if you can run something, and you come for a week, maybe 5 grand's a reasonable budget with the realization you could go through all of it. And some guys are going to have, this is aside from cash games, of course, but some guys are going to put in 10, 15,000 or more in a week here like that. It depends on your style and so forth and what you're willing to commit to. But in any case, the heaters, what is it? I heard about it a couple months ago. A few people talk about it, looked it up, and what it's known for is really large fields, which is true. It's just like it's comparable to if you play a World Series circuit event, and except you're on the Gulf, so I like the location better and a lot of options. Very similar as far as buy-ins, from three, 400, 600, 500, $600 buy-ins to the biggest main event is 1,200. Maybe they have some high roller events in here too, but it's very similar to circuit, I think, in terms of fields, except that as far as the type of players, except that you get, I think, some more recreational players in this because it's only running once a year here. Yeah, the fields are huge. The first one was 6,000 players, and I ended up going out. I made it to day 2, and then busted, fired 3 bullets, made a mistake at the end of my first one, which I'll probably talk about somewhere else. And speaking of that, one of the things that when I make a mistake in a tournament, when I exit a tournament, you get all upset. I've learned to. I'm not super emotional generally about poker. I'm not one of the guys that gets all upset at the table when I bust, even if someone sucked out on me. It's bad for your disposition. It's bad for your play. You have to just accept that that's part of the game, whether you play right or wrong. That things aren't going to always go well. And what I do get down on myself about is if I played a hand poorly and I know I played badly, especially with something I feel like I should have known to do better. Should have known what to do and didn't still. That frustrates me. All we can do is learn from our past and play better, but that kind of speaks to the metaphor of life as far as there's a lot of those in poker that you can't, there's a lot you can't control, right, in your life, and it's just hard to give up control of that. You have to let go. You have to let go. There's things you cannot control. So why expend energy, mental energy, emotional energy, cognitive energy in trying and thinking about things that you can't have any control. You don't have any control over. You can't change it. So, hey, how you doing? So, likewise, when you're playing these tournaments, and in life, both cases, you just have to come to a place of acceptance. There's things you can't control. So, what can you do? Use that energy to focus on what the problem is and how, and more importantly, more time on the solution, right? What can you proactively do about it? What can you improve on? What things can you put in place to improve the situation? So I chose to stay at the Bella, which is an Airbnb nearby. There's Airbnb choices. I really love that one. Really cool, eclectic. That's my bike that I took. Don't make fun of my bike, man. Don't make fun of my bike or me because of my bike. It's great, it's free. Another point, you're gonna be playing, including that hand. There's spots where you're gonna have to play it, and there's good reason it's a parking lot hand for a lot of people. In the end, do you feel good about how you played in this particular case? I was fine with my exit, and I did run into the hand you don't want to see there, but given the situation, I was okay with it. And there's choices. This Best Western, might be $120 a night during the week, 150, 170 on the weekends. If you stay at the Beau Rivage, you're going to be, in the $200 to $300 plus range, higher end on the weekends and lower on the weekdays. And if you want to get some cheaper eats, getting out of the casinos, there's options. I found a really cool place nearby. Toasted Yolk has really nice lunch and breakfast options. And so I choose to go kind of that route. I took a I like to get out of the casino myself. So either way, take a day off is an important point too. If you're playing, like I think I was playing too much last couple of days, felt a bit burnout. Main event starting tomorrow, and they started today, but I'm not playing the first flight. Took a day off, and I think in the past I've done that. It's a really good idea to recharge, take a break, prepare for what you're going into for several days of more serious battle. You want to be clear, rested, and for the young folks, might be a little bit easier. As you get older, it's a little tougher, and acknowledging that's important so that you can play your best. Anthony Castle from the World and Cards signing off.